Staying alone in a small cabin in the middle of the stunning forests of North Carolina was like a bit of an adventure for Alex. However, he should have known very well what the closing time really meant during this night. Inside the hut, the only thing besides the stove, except for the dimness of the candlelight and the rustle of the forest, was silence. Alex loved this silence. He found his inner peace in this silence. But as the night progressed, he began to feel a strangeness inside the hut. On the first night, while Alex was rummaging through the old things of the hut, he encountered a strange feeling. Deck. What he felt was the silence within the silence. Everything seemed still. He could hear only the rustling of the forest and the sound of his own pulse. On the second night, while sleeping in the bedroom of the hut, he saw a shadow slowly moving through the room. When he rubbed his eyes and looked again, the shadow had disappeared. But this disappearing shadow dragged him into the depths of his dreams. In his dreams, Alex felt as if he was lost in the depths of the forest. As the night advanced, the rustling of the forest became more and more intense. But something in the forest was approaching him. The figures in the dreams were inviting him to wake up from the dream. On the third night, the strangeness inside the hut began to increase. Things began to move by themselves. The intensity of the silence seemed to have become almost a physical thing. Alex could no longer ignore these unusual events. Deck. On the fourth night, Alex decided to study the old logs of the hut. The diaries contained the records of the past owners of the cottage. Alex found strange events in the diaries that happened during the closing time of the cottage. The former owners claimed the existence of a living entity inside the hut. On the fifth night, Alex decided to solve the strange events inside the hut. The silence and the shadow inside the house tried to solve the secret of the figures. Finally, he managed to restore the soul of an ancient being who lived inside the hut to peace. The silence of the hut was now peaceful, and Alex agreed to live alone in this quiet house. The rustling of the forest represented inner peace for him now. The silence and the past of the hut had now turned into a new beginning.
Away from the city hustle and bustle of New York, Michael, a young journalist, was going to stay alone for one night because his family was going on a short trip. Tonight, however, was to be filled with strange happenings coming from a passage opened by a mysterious door inside the house. On the first night, Michael tried to relax by feeling the silence. However, in his dream, he stood in front of an antique door located in an old room of the house. The door offered him the opportunity to decipher a journey between the past and the future. Michael, accepting this offer, crossed the threshold of the door. On the second night, Mikhail witnessed a series of strange events in his dream, a memory from the past, an event that will take place in the future, and the tragic story of an ancient family. The door seemed to have given Mikhail the ability to wander through the depths of time. On the third night, Mikhail decided to trace the past. He examined the old documents of the house, family albums, and archives. The door provided him with a historical moment and the opportunity to explore a forgotten legacy of the family. On the fourth night, Michael saw in his dream the former inhabitants of the house. By communicating with them, he learned about the secrets of the past and the dangers of the future. The door gave Michael the strength to confront the family's dark past and change the future. On the fifth night, Michael made another trip deep into time with the help of the door. He took the opportunity to correct the injustices of the past and to enlighten the future. The door gave Michael a chance to make a decision that would change the fate of the family. On the sixth night, Michael turned the house into a place of peace, erasing the traces of the past. The family's forgotten heritage had been rediscovered, and past injustices had been repaired. The house had now become the junction point of the past and the future. On the seventh night, when his parents returned, Michael had an expression of peace on his face. The atmosphere of the city had been transformed by the story of the mysterious door inside the house. Michael's courage and the guidance of the door had made the house not only a place, but also a decoupling point between the gates of time.
Amy, who lives in a quiet village in Iowa, had to stay at home alone for one night due to her family who were traveling on business. She usually liked the silence and solitude of the house, but tonight was different. After the family left, Amy started reading books in the living room after eating. But after a while, he started hearing strange noises in the kitchen. At first, he thought it was caused by the wind, but the sounds gradually began to increase. Amy approached the sounds coming from the kitchen and suddenly found herself at the center of these strange events. Pot lids were flying off the kitchen counter, plates were bouncing, and kitchen cupboards were opening and closing. In fear, he was sure that there was not a single living being in the kitchen. When silence filled the house again, Amy thought that the strange phenomena in the kitchen were a dream. He returned to his room and immersed himself in his book again. But this time his dreams caught up with him. In her dreams, she began to discover terrible secrets from the house's past. Dreams were revealing the mysterious past of his family and the village. These terrible secrets were the keys to the strange events that took place in the village. Amy realized that her dreams helped to reveal terrible truths. But after these dreams, strange events in the house increased. Things began to move by themselves. The source of the sounds was unclear, and the figures in her dreams began to appear inside the house. In the end, Amy, while waiting for her family to return, decided to solve the secrets of the house. Following the clues of his dreams, he reached the old church of the village. There he discovered a terrible truth. A strange ceremony performed in the past of the village had released the strange beings who lived inside the house. Amy decided to reverse the ceremony so that she could imprison these beings again. When he reversed the ceremony in the village church, strange beings returned to the house. When her parents finally returned, Amy told them about the terrible experience she had gone through. But the silence in the house was no longer scary, but peaceful. The silence and the past of the house had now turned into a new beginning for Amy. The quiet village of Iowa was now opening the door to a new life for him.